Hello, guys. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Just wanted to do a little bit of testing and check if it's going to come out well. The topic that I have put here it's about the invisible war that we barely think about. Survival is not just physically but also mentally. And when you're weak minded, you can easily get wiped out if you're not able to adjust to the changing environment, especially mental environment. So, the warfare that we barely think about, or the ones that we are never prepared about, is that of mental state, mental and psychological warfare. You see it in the media, you see it in the streets, you see it everywhere because life basically is something that we are here to experience and learn through experience. We release or we review our inner experiences to the world through sharing and contact with each other. But then when we have to rely on the technology or the gadgets to connect us, uh, first of all, we don't have that experience with each other. It's broken. And secondly, it's like we are absorbing more information that is processed by another party that we don't know. And we are taking these as a real experience. So you did find out, like with the epidemics and all these restrictions, it's like a lot of people have been isolated and they have to stay at home for the most part. So they barely have contact with the outside world. So the effects of that, it's like when you're trapped in your own home without much interaction, it's like your brain doesn't stop thinking. And when you're out experiencing things, your brain is not really thinking, it's just you experiencing things. But when you're just seated, then you're thinking about the world, you're thinking about things that you're not experiencing or you're not seeing. And this becomes your reality. So if you're constantly fed with negative news or negative information, and this sometimes will force you to isolate yourself because you develop this hatred and bitterness towards the world or towards the people you don't know, and you feel like you're cornered in a state or whatever. Then you're constantly blaming outside world for the people you don't even know, and then this is actually one of the reasons why people tend to suffer from mental sicknesses. Um, so yeah, this is I mean, it's a big topic when you get to the area of psychology or whatever, but you don't even need necessarily to read books or whatever. You just need to be alert in the world. That means you're listening not to the voices in your head, but to the outside world. This is where you go out and interact with things. And also, you open your eyes not to the images you're seeing on the screen, but to the actual environment. I would say this because I've seen like cases like people who narrate about racism and all that. You find most of the narrations that are pushed on basically coming from the media. Like when you hear about, oh, black people are being beaten up or whatever. But most of the time, when you go out in your neighborhoods, you don't actually see these cases. So, one isolated case that maybe happened a couple of months later, or whatever, the more they broadcast it, the more they keep repeating it, it creates these fear in the mind. And then you start believing that the whole world is like that. But there's always bad apples, there's a lot of evil in the world. But, you should not believe in things unless you experience them. And the ones that you have believed, because belief is a function that is inside of us, it's something that you should actually investigate or try to seek the truth that is bound. And this is how actually you grow as a person. Even spiritual things is a matter of experiencing them, because if you just believe in things that you don't know, or you believe in somebody else's experience, it doesn't become your experience in a way, because each and of one of every one of us is unique in our own ways, and we have come to this world to live our lives, not to live other people's lives. But as long as we are defined by these culture of conformity, where we are basically getting our information through the media, this is like a hive mind. We don't even have our own time for our own thoughts. And when I talk about being trapped in your own nightmares, uh, there's a there's a part of I think this goes back to religion, intrinsic psychology or whatever. We say the mind can either turn outwards or inwards, And based on where it focuses, when you focus your mind to the world, because mind is always hungry, it's always wants to eat something, you get disconnected from your inner experience. So the outward experience starts to define you, and outside world has no life in it. It's just death and misery and chaos and all that. But when you turn inwards is when you get linked with your own spirit, and this is when your mind actually starts growing. And this is why they came up with the methods of meditating and contemplating. And this is how basically you reconnect with yourself and you filter things. You're able to develop a way to defend yourself against harmful influences. So mental warfare is real. There's a lot of weapons that you may not even be able to comprehend. But you can think about it in the physical existence. There's a lot of resistance when it comes to objects. Even when you're driving your car, you're facing the resistance of the wind. So things are a bit slow. But when it comes to the mental spheres, there is no such restrictions. So if you are weak on the inside, it means these forces, most of which tend to be very harmful, they are going to dictate your inner reality. And when this happens, then you're actually going to suffer from various mental breakdown. Even despair happens when you're weak on the inside, and the mental outside influences are much stronger than uh, whatever. So like I said, survival is not about physical adaptation, it's also about mental adaptations. And so far we have perfected the physical environment. If even if we had to change like physically, unless something happens, a big event happens in the solar system, I don't think we're going to change in terms of forms. Forms is restricted in the physical existences per se, but your mind is not restricted to your physical existence. Your mind is all over the place. So a world in the mind is just a drop in the ocean. So, and this is why you should learn to reclaim your mind, reclaim your own thoughts, evaluate things, and strengthen yourself. Seek that which works for you, and then you can be able to defend yourself from mental harm. Yeah, having internet and having all this information is a good thing, but also a lack of discernment is a big disadvantage for any person. And people who basically lack discernment are people who are filled with pretty much empty. They are like when you have hatred or you have prejudice and stuff like that. So the information that can harm you finds its way very easily into your heart. So yeah, this is what I just like to share, and I hope you guys will find a way to come back and enjoy more podcasts. Ciao.